Well, this year we did the Babysitter Bandit, which was supposed to be the original pilot of Simpsons. We also did Roasting on an Open Fire, which was what became the pilot because of how late production was. And now we're coming to what was meant to be the last episode of Simpsons, or at least one that they tossed around as it, which is Holidays of Future Past. This one starts off with a Christmas intro. Unlike the other, also, Homer eats his gingerbread self. It reminds me of the time he cooked himself in a Treehouse of Horror episode. Um, and he just kind of slowly ate himself. This episode then shows them ending Thanksgiving and getting Christmas cards made, and Bart and Lisa don't want kids, and neither of them stick to that. And then a couch gag of the photos of them aging up happens. Bart lives in his fourth grade classroom at the school. Talk about the boy who never grows up. And Skinner is the landlord, which is kind of funny because that means he's technically still stuck with the same job in a sense. Um, Bart's kids are kind of like iPad versions of himself with Homer. As you know, Bart's kind of like Homer at this point. You see Lisa in an unhappy marriage with Milhouse, and a daughter who spends too much time on the internet. She must get that from Marge. If you guys know, you know. Marge is at a hospital and isn't allowed, or not Marge, sorry about that. Maggie is at a hospital and isn't allowed to talk, and the baby doesn't have her spiky hair like was in the womb. And then none of her bandmates will admit who the father is. So it means Maggie got around. Then I got Homer getting roasted for reading a children's book, which is funny because Homer be Homer. Um, Marge is happy that that the family's coming home and Homer gets a virus. Also, guys, if you want to play a drinking game watching this one, of every time I screw up, you can. Lisa is surprised by Homer's shitballs and Homer channels his inner Jack with no beer. And TV make Homer go crazy. If you guys know what that's from, you're legends. Bart's kids make Bart sad because his ex-wife got remarried and she didn't tell him. And if you know how they are together when they are together in the episodes, you'll know why it's kind of a good thing they're not. Like it's for the best that they're not. And Homer dresses up like Frosty to eat carrots and smoke. Bart gets depresso espresso about his wife getting remarried, and Ed talks about how he accidentally kills Edna and he remarries Maud Ghost, and Maud says there is no God, and Ned just completely ignores her, which is really funny. Maggie can't travel through the teleporter, so she has to travel by air because she's pregnant and she's too far into it. Homer's law makes it illegal for someone to strangle a kid because Lisa wants to strangle her daughter because she's mad at her for being on the internet and ignoring her. Lisa don't want. Also, and Lisa's not getting along with her. Does anybody see any irony? Homer lost his invisibility cloak because yeah, we see Apu and his children going after Robo Snake to protect their store in a cashless society. Mr. Burns is still alive somehow. Kearney recognizes Maggie because he went to jail with Bart. We'll get back to that in a few minutes. Lisa and Bart get drunk in the treehouse, which was a nice touch. Bart and Lisa take after their parents, and they just kind of call out. Drunk Lisa's really funny. Like, she's like, at one point she goes, Bart goes, "Did you bake cookies?" Because she said something about it. And she goes, "Yes, I did. They're the best cookies in the house, but we're never going to talk about that." That's not the point. That's something like that. But it was really funny. Curry says he knows who Maggie is because he says she just played out a sold out show, I think in Beijing is what he says. So he does know who she is. Patty and Selma having robots that are specifically designed to love the person that owns them, only for them to get away from Patty and Selma and go with each other. It's kind of funny because that's just kind of sticks to the status quo and how they're destined to be alone. Maggie uses a pacifier instead of an epidural. It's kind of funny. You can see that, I guess, maybe working, but I don't know. I'm a guy, so I don't go through childbirth, so my opinion really isn't valid on that. The Simpsons internet being like Futurama is funny, and it references it. That's not the only thing that references Futurama. I know or I thought I said something about Futurama earlier. Um, oh, wait, never mind. I know where I said something about. That's later. They also tried to flirt with Lisa because she's got him around her finger because she calls him drunkenly. She admits that to Bart because she says, well, somebody calls somebody. Um, It's a nice little touch showing that Nelson's really hung up on her, and it seems like he is in almost every future episode that shows them. Cones of the new Chief Wiggum is funny because it just shows Ralph, Ralph being Ralph. Lindy and Carl switching brains is funny from them switching into each other's body just to get back at one of them's wives that's a monkey. I think it was Carl. I think that was funny. Homer taking the boys to the cryogenic place. Or what? Hold on. That's a little bit further. Okay. Zia hiding her real self from her mom is funny. We're not going to go into what she says. She thought her mom would think she was on. That was just a little out of the pocket. Uh, Homer talking or taking the boys to see his dad at the cryogenic place is real funny. It's a nice Futurama reference. Homer using it to prove a point that everybody hates their dad until they need him, and that they do deep down love their dad. It's just a boys' thing to not like their dad. Is a nice little touch. Everyone getting along, and Maggie having the baby is a nice touch. Well, this episode is a nice one, and I love how when it was going to be the last episode 14 years ago, by the way, I think it would have worked. Also, so I'm going to do some more Simpsons episodes. Like next year, I want to do one for Mother's Day, which is the one that just came out, where Lindsay Lohan plays Maggie. And that's not even the reason I want to do it. I just wanted to talk about the episode in general. So if you guys see that kind of video come out way later, or I'll probably release it now, maybe re-release it for that day. I don't know. But I do want to talk about that one. I do eventually want to talk about the sequel to this episode, and I want to do Bart Hood for Father's Day. So, yeah, that's it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on notifications. I will see you guys next time. Peace.